Hey, it's Angela with FoodStorageandSurvival.com. Today we are working on another 18th century food preservation technique. And this is a technique for preserving fruits. And it's actually really similar to how we preserve fruit in modern times. A little different in the amount of sugar that's used and then in the final processing. But this is a method that they use to preserve fruits, a number of different fruits, and I found different recipes written up for preserving berries or peaches or apricots, all in the same type of method. So what you need is some fresh fruit, and today I've got apricots, but I've also done strawberries and raspberries, so we're going to check those out after I show you how we do this. And then you need sugar and some water, so you want an equal weight of sugar to your fruit. This one was about 1 pound 6 ounces of fruit, so I put 1 pound 6 ounces of sugar. But if you've got a pound of fruit and a pound of sugar, then your sugar you're going to turn into a syrup. And to do that, you add a little bit of water. Now, if you have a pound of fruit, a pound of sugar is about 2 cups of sugar, and it takes a half a cup of water. So it's a really thick sugar syrup. And I've heated it up here for these apricots. Now the idea, and what they did, is just to heat your fruit gently, because you don't want the fruit being crushed in the process. You don't want to turn it into jam or have fruit that's ugly, or not, it doesn't look like fruit anymore. So you put your fruit into the syrup and boil it gently until it's clear. This is what the directions say, until it's clear. And what that just means is that it's cooked through. They don't go completely clear, they just cook through. Skim off any foam, because you might get foam as if you're cooking jam. Now, if you're looking at this and you've done some canning of fruit, you know that this is how we can fruit, sort of. We use fruit and then a sugar water solution in the jars with the fruit. It's not this high of a sugar concentrate. When we make jam, it is a real high sugar concentration, and so this is sort of similar to making jam, only without crushing up the fruit. Now, you're going to cook that fruit until it's clear, gently boiling. I'm going to bring my heat back up so it boils a bit. And then you pull the fruit out of the pan and out of the syrup and let it cool, and let the syrup cool separately, because you don't want the fruit to continue cooking. All right, I'm going to show you the ones that I did earlier while I let this heat up. Okay, so this is the syrup from the raspberries that we did. Raspberries are cooling on a plate. They fared okay. In order to do raspberries properly, the instructions, even back in the day, did say to use raspberries that were not quite ripe. And mine were pretty ripe, and so I've had more crushage than you would want, but some of them came out looking like raspberries still. And then, when it's all done and you've got the fruit and you pour the syrup back over it, then they stored it in glass, so in a crock or some type of container. This is the strawberries that I did a week or 2 ago. I can't quite remember. Whole strawberries with stems on, as the instructions said, so that's just what I did. I'm doing these fruits for a 18th century food preservation display for the Colonial Heritage Festival, and so I'm doing this in an 18th century manner. Now, once it was in the jar or in the crock, that was the end of it. They didn't seal it or can it. And if we wanted to preserve this and just keep it, you could run it through a water bath canner. That high heat is going to, your raspberries probably aren't going to make it through a canning round on high heat, but strawberries might, apricots will. So it is similar to how we can fruit and preserve fruit today, just a lot more sugar in it. All right, we will actually check back in on these as well in a later video. when I head over to that Colonial Festival, and I'll show you how they all turned out. All right, thanks for joining me.